Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Landedkiller show. Today we'll be going over the Tier 7 German battleship, Prince Heinrich. Without further ado, let's get into stats. So we can see on our stats, our armor layout is all over the place here. We have this section of 30 millimeter fore-end armor belt, 120 millimeter fore-end armor belt section there, and then a 25 millimeter there. 25 millimeters here. Our bat armor 300, 350, 200, 100, 120, 250 uniform on the side, 300 on the side for the barbette. Superstructure is plated at 16 millimeters. Deck, this casemate armor deck right here is 50 millimeters. Conning tower 150 at the top, 300 at the side, 16 millimeters for the superstructure. Small section of 16 in the back. Aft end deck is 25 millimeters, a section of 25 back here. Aft end armor belt 100 millimeters, and then we got the bow section here at 40 millimeters. Let's look at the side. It's a little bit harder to do it in this port. 150 millimeters for the casemate part, 25 for the other part, 270 section here, 300 millimeter, a 225 millimeter, and then a 26 millimeter. Let's take off that casemate. 30 millimeter section right here. We have a 60 millimeter section all around there. 60 millimeters on the Citadel torpedo bulkhead, and then a 50 millimeter the Citadel torpedo bulkhead. So the weak point is going to be the middle of the ship right here. 30 millimeters at the top. Let's look at barbettes. 300 here, 90 millimeter here. So Warship 250 section, then a 26 millimeter section, 250, and then 26 millimeter section. Ooh, that's weaker than the Mackinson, I think, actually. Mackinson. Take a look at the same. Yeah, so that's a little bit weaker than Mackinson right there. Let's look at survivability. Survivability is pretty much middle of the road again. 56,300 hit points. Torpedo protection, damage reduction 28%. Artillery 4x2 380 millimeters. 30-second reload, 30-second turn time on the 180. Secondary armament 6x 205s. Range is 9.1 with the skill and with the equipment. Secondary battery modification 1. Secondary armament 12x1 150 millimeters. So that's pretty decent. Range 17.0 kilometers. So engaging targets at long range is going to be significantly harder. And of course, now we have torpedoes. This is the first ship in the line which gets torpedoes. 2x4 533 millimeters. Torpedo range is 10 kilometers here. The arcs are pretty decent. You have to turn a little bit. Speed is 50 knots, so it's a little slow. And then you got your airstrike here, 2 attack flights to go after the submarines with. Maximum damage to subs 25,000. You get 6 bombs, 2,500 damage, so 2,500 times 6, so about 1,500 max damage if you get them all on target. Range 8 kilometers, reload time 60 seconds on that. AA defense is a little better than Mackinson here. It's got more continuous damage, which is good. 182. Priority sector reinforcement remains a little low. Fire range 5.2 kilometers, so maybe you'll do a little better against the skip bombers than Mackinson. Maximum speed 28 knots. Turning circle radius is 810 meters. Rudder shift time is 14.5 seconds. Concealment 14.6 kilometers is the average. But you can see it has 16.6 when ship is on fire, 13.7 when ship is in smoke, 17 kilometer when firing a main battery gun shell. 9.7 kilometers detection by sub. And of course, we already went over those. Assured detectable range 2.0. Equipment, skills, same as Mackinson pretty much. Demolition expert, vigilance, long range secondary battery shells, and then main secondary battery, manual secondary battery aiming, and of course, emergency repair expert. You should probably get emergency repair expert before you get manual secondary battery aiming, just due to how quickly you're going to be under fire. Let's look at equipment here. I have damage control system modification 2, secondary modification 1, damage control system modification 1, main armaments modification 1. You can make armament for hydroacoustic search modification 1. If you really don't like subs that much, all it's going to help you do is spot the subs a little longer. But the range is pretty good at 4.7 kilometers for torpedoes, and ships 5.5 kilometers. Consumable action time 110 seconds, reload time 120 seconds, number of consumables 3. Repair party 3, pretty standard. And of course, the fast damage control team. I'm really not a big fan of this consumable here because you can run out of it if you're not strategic in its use. Torpedoes can do a maximum of 13,700 damage, which is decent. AP 10,900 damage, 17 kilometer range, 800 millimeters per second. AC 4,500, 800 millimeters per second. See that we have your base range is going to be 15.5 kilometers. I just have the modern stuff equipped on here because I can, because this is early access. For standard hull, probably increases torpedo reload time a little less. AA. And I have the hull B equipped. Hull A, you can see the difference there. 5,800 less health. Hull B just helps out in general because you get better stats, more survivability. Alright, so we're going to take Prince Heinrich out into some co-op here for your enjoyment. I've only played one battle on the ship before, so we got a little used to it. Still is iffy, but it's nice that you get those torpedoes at tier 7 like Eisenhower gets at tier 7. So, main things that I've noticed in this ship is engaging your targets well and placing them shots selectively on target, because you only have six barrels, so you have to really 8 barrels on your gun, so you have to really be selective on your targets. That's important. Here we are, tier 8 battle. Kinda in the middle of the pack here in this battle. No submarines in here. I guarantee you most of the submarines you're going to find hiding out in ranked or randoms at this point in time. People are itching to do the PvP action. Alright, so we don't see any enemies yet. I wonder if we're going to get a cyclone here because we got this stormy stuff going on. Probably not. One can make the argument for the extended hydroacoustic search equipment in slot 2 for the ship, just because the submarines. If you really don't like submarines, go ahead and equip that. But I feel like the reduction to fire and to flooding is worth it. That's why I didn't put that consumable on the ship. Here we go. First target of Dallas. Shots at target. Got a destroyer. I'll show you these torpedo arcs real quick. They're pretty much better on the front than they are on the aft. This gate is getting pretty close. Secondaries are already firing off. What ended up happening is I ended up putting my remaining doubloons into the early access event to get Prince Heinrich. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna do that for Zeitzen or for Prince Rupert. People already made videos on that already. We'll see. There we go. We got a good shot off. Dallas. Switch to that armor piercing because we got some battleships. I still think it's funny whenever I hear the commander say that. I don't know what that means. Maybe it means that we almost won this or something, is my guess. Okay, toggle and range and see if I can shut the target here. Come on. See? That's what happens. The enemies just get sunk quickly in this mode. Constellation. Han's already finishing them off. I played a little bit of randoms earlier. Still I'm seeing this trend of destroyers and submarines finishing off people pretty quickly without really much time to react. Because the ship's range is limited, you really just have to take advantage of its torpedoes when you are in range, of course. Because that 10-kilometer range, even though you might not think it matters much, it does. Because you can use them torpedoes to get enemies to back off a little bit. I think I'm going to make a video. I think I'm going to do a little research and figure out which pre-dreadnoughts can actually fit into World of Warships and make a video on it. It's going to take me a little bit of time to look around at different pre-dreadnoughts that are missing, but I'm sure there's a whole bunch. World of Warships is missing out on a potentially good aspect of the game by not having them in there. This Constellation's almost finished off. Look at that. The torpedoes are going to get him before I can even get a shot off. Yep. Nope. He exploded. You know what? That battle was way too short. We're going to go back in. For those that don't know, I'm planning on doing a training room this Friday, 7 p.m. Central, pretty much, for those that are fed up with subs and want to get away from the subs for a little bit. I think it should be a good time. I just want to let people know that's going to be a thing I'm going to try to do every Friday. See how this goes. Epicenter, good. Might be able to get these secondaries to fire off a good bunch here. You can see that the number of battleships is going down. An interesting tweet I saw was from Happa Fodder where he said World of Warships should consider changing the maximum team size to 15 versus 15. I think it's pretty telling when your former community manager is saying stuff like that. He realizes the game's not a good state right now. Because when I was in randoms earlier, I was seeing matches where I was seeing 2 subs and I was at least seeing a sub on each side and then 5 destroyers on each side. And I was just like, wow. Are they going to have to limit destroyers now? I don't know. We'll see. Until I really like a ship if I bring it in for a second battle. I'm liking this ship so far. Switch to armor, to high explosive, considering destroyers. Honestly, I'm just surprised that one ship in particular, HMS Incomparable, has not been mentioned in a while. I think they're undergoing another. I think it's undergoing another round of testing with some increased acceleration. It's supposed to accelerate faster now and reverse faster now or something. I think it's going to be a steel ship. That's my gut feeling on it. Honestly, I just am surprised they haven't come out already with what they're doing with it. It's either going to be Research Bureau or it's going to be steel. It's way, way, way too good for it to be coal. Great, this destroyer's not down yet. Oh, look at that, wasted some shots. That's fine. Now we're gonna switch to armor piercing because we got destroyers down to size pretty much. Overall, I find this ship to be really fun to play with. I would say this is a good contender for Nari for sure. Because of the strong secondaries and its torpedo armament. When Nari comes back, I'm going to be taking this in there. What did I sink? What did I sink? I sank a destroyer? Okay, that's interesting. And as so, if I can get close enough, this should be an interesting matchup. Look at all this action happening behind me here. Shot off at the side. On. Come down a little bit. Nobody's going after the sign up, so I'm going to change directions and go after the sign up here. Let's see if I can cause some damage to sign up. There we go. Ooh, a little cruiser there too. Fun. These secondaries are pretty accurate even without manual secondary battery aiming. Pretty nice. Secondary sink another ship. Said a lot with Mackinson that my secondaries were sinking destroyers. It's a nice feeling again to be able to do that. Destroyers closing in, or cruisers. Okay, this is all me versus sign up. Since mercy roll goes into effect, we'll see. Sign up versus Prince Heinrich. Torpedoes off at him. Shots just ricochet off. Let's see if these torpedoes hit. And they do. 2 torpedoes off at him. Got this. Sink him. Look at that explosive finish. We got him. That sign off good. So overall, Prince Heinrich, what do I think? Decent ship. This is going to be definitely a good contender for an RI. Can't wait to see people take this out in an RI. And keep in mind that I am also looking for replays occasionally if you guys want to send them in. But for some reason, replay controls are acting up, which is why the Sunray, what was it, Saving Transylvania? That's why that video looks kind of bad. Because for some reason the reticle wasn't focusing on the where I actually shot the target. Really hilarious. But I'm going to try another round of that. Obviously, it's stuck in hard mode this week, so I'm going to give that a go. Some people want to help me out to record a better video by recording normal easy mode by divisioning up with me. I'm looking for that too. Because you're stuck on hard mode this week, and then it's Sun, Rain, Darkness after that. Oh, yeah, Prowl's active too. Forgot about that. Alright. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, watch, and subscribe for future World of Warships and Temperon 2 content. I'm really just trying to get this channel up to 1,000 subs. Every little bit helps. Show your friends. Let them know I'm out here. One of the biggest obstacles to anybody doing YouTube is trying to get toward that monetization. Once you hit monetization, it gets a little easier from there. Until then, thank you for watching. Appreciate you all.